Alright, so now we're going to look at alphas. And in this example, I have a file that I made in one of the previous videos. It has a different type of thing like clouds and sprites and bars and all kinds of crazy stuff that you can use to learn different effects within After Effects. So this is kind of like your Swiss Army learning type of file. Here I got a gradient and I have these bars. Okay, and what I want to do is cut the gradient out based upon the bars. Well, over here, that's what channel is all about. So these channels, all these effects are based upon like a transparency of some nature. And in Photoshop, you would have something like, let's say this, for example. Okay, where it has substance and then it has a transparency. And that could be used for different effects. So in this case, maybe I want to cut those out. Well, that's set matte. Drag it over to gradient. And it'll ask you, what do you want to use for the matte layer? Do you want a channel? Well, in this case, I want the alpha channel, or to act like an alpha channel. And then I want to choose bars. And it works just like that. Now, if I wanted to maybe affect the overall look of that, maybe lightness. Okay, and using bars. Well, use this map for lightness. That means I could probably go in and find another effect in here, like color correction, called lightness, which really don't have too much of a lightness. They have an exposure, and they have a levels. Levels is about the same thing. So let's go exposure. And we can put an exposure layer down over the gradient. Okay, now let's overexpose this. You can see it's only affecting that area where the bars are at, because of this one up above. Now this works for anything. Let's say I went back and choose clouds instead. Okay, and I change the exposure. Not as cool. Not as cool at all. Sprite? Well, still not too cool, but the bars definitely neat. And you can have that pulsating back and forth. But this is a great way to learn the different channels. Now, I can't express how many different channels there really are, because really, if you go in here and let's look at another one for an example. So under channel, let's say we say set channels. And we'll put set channels down. Well, now I can have a source layer 1, 2, 3, 4, and all these great things can be ran on different channels. So this one could be set to cloud. Okay, maybe it doesn't affect a red, maybe it affects the alpha. Wow. Okay. Maybe the bars affect the alpha too. So how many different things you can really get into this is just amazing. I don't really like the clouds. So learn what they can do. And again, you could stack those on top of each other. Now I can also invert a channel pretty easy. Let's say I like the bars, but I want to make it the opposite. Let's get rid of this one. And I can go to bars, turn that on, and I can invert it. Okay, now my bars are inverted. But look at that, I can also blend it if I wanted to. So that's how you learn layer or the channels aspect of things. Just make a few of them, plop them down, and start messing around with these different channel compositions to see what happens with the effects of the overall image. Enjoy.